everybody. We are back with another episode of Tales from the Tavern. We had a very interesting start to the stream, if you noticed. Had to take care of that gosh darn follow bot. That was fun. But anyway, we're here now, and I would like to say hello and welcome to all of the people joining us for the first time tonight. We are here. This is a TTRPG chat show where chat is in charge of asking all of the questions. So hopefully you've come with some questions, or you think of some questions during the course of the night, and you can just go ahead and drop them into chat, and I've got a moderator standing by to make sure that we get them, and hopefully we have time to answer all of them. But if we don't, I have a project for those. So there will be more information about that coming up in just a little bit. But the first thing that I would like to do is I would like to go around and have all of my guests introduce themselves. So, Callan, we're going to start with you. Tell us a little about who you are and where everybody can find you and anything that you've got that you would like to share.
I am Callan Hale. You can find me, Callan_Hale, on Twitter and on my YouTube channel where I stream retro horror, which one of my friends and big fans sent me this because I stream Fatal Frame. That scary classic game. It's an old camera obscura.
That's
some
awesome.
things I have coming up. Gem and I are actually starting up our business that's going to be launching on October 10th. Delta 3 Designs, where I'll be posting up all of my TTRPG content I've written over the past decade that I'm bringing up to 5e, as well as accessible supplements and just general TTRPG stuff. Even on my horror shows I do, and I chat about tabletop RPGs.
Well, I'm glad you reached out, and I'm glad we were able to get you scheduled on for tonight. I'm excited to get to know you a little bit and chat a little bit more. And next we'll go over to Lord Richter, who is a longtime watcher, first-time caller.
Yes, that's true. That's true. You can find me at the Inspired Incompetence Discord server. I also hang out at the Full Round Action Gaming server. And pretty much that's my jam, is to follow those podcasts and, participate where I can with them.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on tonight. And familiar face back at the tavern, Ray Mayhem.
It's me again, Ray Mayhem. I'm trying to get that Shannon spot. Like, I want to have been here the most.
I know. I'm going to have to go back and do a head count for everybody. So
I think I'm on 7 or 8.
You might be ahead of Shannon at this point.
Ooh, that feels nice. Hello, I am Ray Mayhem. I am Ray Mayhem literally everywhere. I paint minis. I play a lot of TTRPG. And I'm in a weird position because there's 2 projects that I'm working on. Both people who are part of them are here, and we're going to be talking about them at various points. But that point is not right now. So that's me.
Well, thanks for coming back on and hanging out with me. I was telling Ray beforehand, I haven't had the chance to talk to her lately, so this is the only way that I can get time to actually say hi to her.
Hang out with your friends.
Yeah, pretty much. And let's see, next I have Rabbit, who is visiting from the Lawful Great Adventures, which you have all heard me promote far and wide. So, Rabbit, tell us a little about you.
Hey, I'm Rabbit. I play Theo Rosefield on Lawful Great Adventures. It's a Pathfinder 1D actual play. 4 friends, far from home, long whirlwind adventure. And also, going back to what Ray was saying, announcing today, you heard it here first, I'm actually going to be the storyteller for our first spin-off from the LGA podcast. It's going to be using the new Orbital Blues system, and the project is called Telluride. It'll actually have Ray Mayhem, Kayellen, T.T. Benjamin, also of Lawful Great, and Zad Kael. And it's a kind of a dystopian capitalist nightmare kind of place and setting with a lot of sad space cowboys. And it's going to be really interesting, and so far it's been really fun. So stay tuned on my Twitter, @Tarabbit with an underscore, or at great_lawful for more details when we get that.
Awesome. Well, I'm already excited for it. It's an awesome cast. I know a good number of the people in it, and we'll vouch for all of them. Let's see. We'll go over to Amber.
Oh, wow. I muted myself thinking that I was already muted. I love doing that. So hi, everyone. I'm Amber, also known as the Space Jamber on Twitter and Instagram. But I think the last time I used my Instagram was May, so don't follow me there. Anyway, hi. The last time was actually on Tales from the Tavern. I was trying to make it as a game designer, and then I actually found my groove as a tabletop role-playing game editor and content creator. So actually, like, I love this 180. I'm actually finishing up editing Necrobiotic now from Penny for a Tale, and I'm very excited because this has been like my first huge big project, and I'm like, love that. But also I've also worked with Fat Magic. I've worked I'm currently working also with Snowbright Studios to their various initiatives since they just wrapped up Tea Time Adventures. So lots of really great things on the horizon. I am for hire. If anyone needs an editor or a researcher or a writer or whatever, please let me know. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on again, Luna. This has just been watching your community grow since you split from Shared Experience has been really great. So yay.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been awesome, and it's been a really nice adventure taking this, as I keep saying, it's bringing Tales from the Tavern back home. So Amber didn't say it, but she should. She refers to herself as the TTRPG Swiss Army knife. So yeah, definitely reach out to her if you're looking for any of that stuff. And I am GamerMomLuna. I am the host and creator of Tales from the Tavern, which has run on now its third channel in 2 years. And finally bringing it back home to my own personal channel, which I've been a variety streamer on Twitch for about the same amount of time, about 2 years. And now sort of shifting my channel a little bit to be more TTRPG focused. So with that news comes two things. One is that Amber and I actually are going to be doing a one-shot together with Dungeon Matt Arter, who was on 2 weeks ago, and oh my gosh, Big Bees is going to be in it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Soul, yes, and so that is going to be a super fun one-shot that Matt actually wrote the system for, called Crashlands, and so look for that coming soon. Also, Ray and I have an announcement. We are going to be starting up a TTRPG stream. Don't really know exactly what the runtime on it's going to be just yet. But if you like Ravenloft, you might be into this. If you like My Little Ponies, you're definitely going to be into this, because it's My Little Ponies in Ravenloft. And we have 2 spots open for the cast. So we are going to be looking for that. So what we'll probably do is I will set up a Google form and put that out on Twitter as well as in Discord. And we will spread the word far and wide. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, we would love to chat with you about it. Ray, do you have anything that you would like to add?
For anyone that has ever played at my table, I am very rule of cool, that if you can make it sound good, I will probably let it fly. I have the entire My Little Pony Tales of Equestria Friendship is Magic TTRPG, and I always wanted to do something with it, and it's Wolf's Blood's fault because he said, well, why don't you set it in Ravenloft? So it's either going to be this, like, absolutely ridiculous adventure, or it is going to be way more serious than I ever intended for it to be. So, but it will be fun.
Why
and
not?
if,
Oh,
I think my head just exploded when you and I'm very thankful at the moment that my children are not watching this, because they would probably be pressuring me to fill out a form. and that would hurt me a lot.
Well, we wouldn't want that. So.
Yes, that would be bad. So if this is
I wish you
your
great success.
Wolf Split, I'm so playing My Little Donkey.
Wait, this is my big question because I saw the Tales from Equestria game when I was out yesterday. Do you actually play as the ponies?
Yep.
Like the canonical ponies from like Twilight Sparkle and all that?
You make your own pony, and on your character sheet, there's like a little outline of a My Little Pony, and you get to like make your own cutie mark and color them and stuff.
Oh my god.
Wolfsblood and I were discussing
wow.
his cutie mark the other day because for those of you that know Wolfsblood, he is also going to be part of the cast, and we were saying that his cutie mark should be a mech from Mech Warrior. So
An urban mech.
yes, yep, an urban mech. Yep. Okay, so for those of you that are visiting the stream for the first time, the way this works is we take all of our questions from chat. We do have one that's already come in, so we're going to jump off with that one in just a minute. But if you have questions that you would like to ask our cast, our crew here, feel free to just drop them in chat. You don't need to do anything special. I have a moderator that will make sure that they get seen and will feed them to me directly, so don't feel like you have to use the highlight or anything like that. However, if you have 1,000 channel points and you would like to bump your question up to the next one in the queue, you can use the Ask My Question Next, which is available in the channel points section. So for 1,000 channel points, your question will get bumped up to the next one in the queue, so that way you know that we will have to get to it. And like I mentioned, any questions that we don't have time to get to, what I used to do is I would put them on Twitter for everybody to answer. However, those will now be getting saved for a podcast version of this show that's going to be about an hour long and will launch exclusively to patrons. So it will launch to everybody else like a week or two later, but it will start off launching exclusively to patrons. So those questions will actually end up getting reserved for the guests on that. That is either going to start in November or January. It kind of depends on how my fall goes at this point. But be on the lookout for that information as well. So there you have it. So we're going to dive in with our questions right now. The first question that we got is from Nekala the Druid, and her question is, what would your favorite character you've played dress up for Halloween? I know, we're starting off with the big heavy-hitting questions.
I've actually played my favorite character recently. He's a Tabaxi bard monk. He would dress up like El Kabong because he doesn't know how to play the loot he uses. He uses it as a bludgeoning weapon.
That's amazing.
And Gemma, the GM, does not make me roll an attack roll. It's a performance roll every time he uses it.
Excellent.
Incredible. Wait, El Kabong, like the horse that... Okay, all right. I just want to make sure.
This episode, I can tell.
All right, everybody. Thanks for having me. Bye.
I
really don't know.
I don't know either.
I think I'm trying to think. One of my characters that I played, Edabrix, who was a halfling rogue ranger fighter in Pathfinder First Edition. She would probably, like, she's not super creative when it comes to stuff like that, so I think she would probably just be like, oh, I'm gonna go, like, a little extra and, like, extra dress up as a rogue, so she'd probably pull off something like, oh my gosh, Wesley from The Princess Bride. Like, she would probably run with something like that.
That's great.
But well, he still had the mask on.
I like, my brain is not giving me any of my characters. All I can think about is Jackie, who's in the project I'm working on Rabbit with. And like, Jackie definitely has like a sexy nurse costume in her closet. Like, there's for sure, like, she was Harley Quinn for like too many years. Like, and that's all I can think about is like what Jackie has been for Halloween. and like she's that girl. Like she's been a sexy nurse and like a sexy cop, like the whole sexy version of the Village People. She's been 100%. 100%.
I keep trying to think of something more creative than the answer I'm about to give. So, but I can't because that's just the nature of this character. So, my favorite character that I've ever played that I really only pull out for like stupid games is a man called Tama Wazelian, and he is a wild magic barbarian, very, very, very loosely based on Tommy Wiseau from The Room, and other such great things as you know, anything really. So I mean, but like really what he would dress up as is probably, I mean, Tommy Wiseau would dress up as Tennessee Williams or like himself. Yeah, he would dress up as himself. That's what he would do. And this character absolutely would dress up as Tommy Wiseau. So it's very meta. God, I hate myself.
Well, now that you said that, I was reminded I played a sentient hat that had the soul of a lich trapped in it, and it became more powerful as it like consumed human souls. So it found its way into a children's museum and was like in the dress-up box at a children's museum.
You played the Sorting Hat.
Yeah.
What did? Oh my god!
Yeah, like cannibalistic.
What did Daphne call me? Daphne called me. Oh, Murder Hat was what they would call me. It was Murder Hat, and like it was really. Yeah, his name was Cool Guy Name. The hat's name was Cool Guy Name, but I can just imagine that like because it was like this old ugly hat that the Cool Guy Name would probably dress up as like a fedora and think it was cool.
Incredible.
So my character Theo in the LGA campaign, they actually the entire party went to a fancy dress party, and what he went as, he was wearing black leather pants with good chunky black boots, a black vest, white shirt with the sleeves rolled up to show off them forearms, chest unbuttoned because you got to show off the chest, wearing rose-tinted glasses. That's what he wore.
I love it.
It was so good.
He was a pimp from the 70s.
Oh, I was just going to say a member of BTS, but that's better.
So I played a pirate in Pathfinder Skull and Shackles AP, Jamist Ibiru Skirk. And he would have dressed himself up for Halloween as the Scarecrow. Not the Batman Scarecrow, but Christopher Sin, the smuggler Scarecrow. Because that would have been right up his alley, because he was working every angle he could. Including the player sold out the rest of his buddies and gave them a big negative just so I could get another bonus by taking an additional trait. Negative trait, a drawback, so I could get a freebie. So that was all his.
Oh boy! Did everybody answer that?
I think we did.
I think so. All right. Let's see. Well, the next question that we have is from Casey, the adjunct GM. And
Casey
says, I really enjoy incorporating one-shots into my campaign using systems other than D&D, like doing a Call of Cthulhu mystery. What game would you incorporate into your campaign for a change of pace?
Honey Heist. Sorry, that just Honey Heist. I saw that question come up and I was like, yes. So, the whole thing is like you're a bunch of fucking bears and you're like going through and heisting as bears. So I mean, of course there's going to be some like side episode where like you piss off a witch or something and she turns you into a bear and you have to steal like the antidote to get the I'm just having so many ideas now. Yeah.
All the ideas.
Just make everything a bear episode. Replace beach episodes with bear episodes from now on. Like God.
I had
For
three
me,
ideas. Go
I
ahead.
beg your pardon.
All right, I'll go. I had 3 ideas pop in my head, and that's one, having all of your players play a made-up D&D analog called Paychecks and Pink Slips, where you all play your characters playing you in real life to make it even more abstract and weird. A thing that we've done, which is everyone plays an animal in the game, doing an action that happens behind the scenes that the rest of your actual party doesn't see, or doing a 1-page RPG, making one of those out of the blue that just you only have like a couple of stats, and then you go and just whack and smash your way through things. That's what I thought of.
What I was thinking of was actually using a card game we have called Kung Fu Fighting.
Oh.
And then, you conduct your battles your fights that way. So, throw you into a different genre, and then it's a complete different system. And then the card game has all sorts of stuff. It's an old Slugfest Games game, but it has things like Umbrella and spinning roundhouse kick. And so you just tack those babies on there. And then your defenses and all that same kind of way. But that's what I would do.
I've done Shadowrun.
No, go ahead.
I've done Shadowrun. Just pulled it out of my players. Like, they wanted something different. It's like, okay, everybody get out all your D6s. Here's your characters.
This is what we're going to do.
I have written one-shots for existing campaigns that use like micro RPG kind of mechanics. Like you're only rolling D6s, you only have like 3 stats, but it makes it super fun for the players, because then you're like, I get what Casey's saying, because then you can like world build and they can like work that back in. I wrote one for my home game in Vaima, and it was, the players were bodega cats, like they were shop cats in this like one of the magical cities, and at night they could leave the shop and they could talk, and there was an evil coffee wizard that it was like Starbucks sort of thing, like gentrifying the neighborhood. And oh, it was goofy and silly. There was an enchanted like plastic milk jug ring that one of the cats had, because that was its treasure, like was this plastic milk jug ring. So doing silly things like that, I think make it not only makes like a nice palate cleanser, but it also helps with like world building, and it lets people kind of step outside of whatever type of character they might have, shoehorned themselves into this time.
That was from the micro RPG book, right? The Bodega Cats?
There's Bodega Cats in the micro RPG book, and then there's also one where you're cats, but you're like familiars and they can teleport. I'm blanking on what it's called though, because you're like a little anime cat and you can like teleport, like Artemis and Luna in Sailor Moon.
Oh, that sounds great. Actually, I would love that.
I will think of it 10 minutes after we're done tonight. I promise you that. I promise you that.
I once did a one-shot, so if this was not confusing enough, in a group that typically played Pathfinder First Edition, we did a D&D 5e one-shot in the middle of it as a nightmare scenario. It was a one-off because it was just before Halloween and 2 of our normal cast members couldn't make it. So we brought in a couple of people from Discount Dungeons, and their DM DM'd it for us, who they normally play 5e. So he ran it in 5e, and the rest of us took our characters and had to adapt them to 5e rule sets. And so the whole thing was like meant to be like the same town, the same setting, and all of that. But it was all like everything was just slightly skewed while we did this weird like one-off mission. And the whole idea was like, it was like, you know, we had been knocked unconscious in the actual like the world that we were in. And so this was all like, either we had been we weren't really clear whether or not we had been teleported or if we all just sort of had this collective dream or whatever, but it was really cool. Yeah, but it was a really neat way to do it because it was like you could tell, like all our characters could tell like something feels weird, like this doesn't work the way it's supposed to, and you know, kind of like it does in a dream. But yeah.
You guys, all of your one shots were nice and fun loving. Mine was because my players were dicks and kept saying, we want to get back to playing Shadowrun. And I just got off 4 years of streaming Shadowrun, so I needed a break. I was like, all right, we're going to play Shadowrun. Here are your characters built for it.
There you go.
And I told them, this is canon in our world, too.
That's amazing. I've actually never played Shadowrun. It's all on my list of things that I would like to try, but I have not actually done it yet.
4E or 6E, I would avoid 5E just because the character generation on it. You'll spend more time trying to learn what skill does what than you're actually going to start playing the game.
Oh wow!
Good to
I
know.
don't even go that far. Second ed is where I capped my Shadowrun glory. I enjoy that real well when I was there.
If you play 4E, you'll need a lot of D6. I once had to roll 76 D6s.
Oh my gosh.
For an attack.
There's got to be a song about that, right? 76 D6s for my attack. I mean... Oh gosh. Those all sound fun. Rabbit and I got to do a game in a short series as part of like a Lawful Great kind of spin-off, and where we used the quest system, which was really fun too. That was a nice, easy system to use for stuff like that because you don't have to memorize a lot. It's a D20. That's pretty much it. You have a set number of hit points. You have a set number of points you can spend. Yeah, so that was good.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's where Ben got his entire his super hard mechanic of choosing between two terrible options, even in this game that we're playing currently.
Which is so great.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's one mechanic that I really enjoyed about Quest, and I think should be in more games.
I was in a short series, like a D&D 4-shot, fairly recently, where in the last episode to fight the big bad, our DM used the flashbacks mechanic from Blades in the Dark or Forge in the Dark, where in order to prep fully, so that we could be better attuned to being able to beat this big, essentially eldritch god, we were able to go back and be like, actually, hold on, let's flash back to this moment where my character decided to, prep poisoning some darts and have them hidden in their boots, and let's go ahead and role play this flashback so that we can go back and use those poison darts to kill it was so great. It was a great moment, actually, and I'm really looking forward to playing more Forge in the Dark games so that we can continue to use that mechanic. It's a lot of fun. It's a little bit of cheating, but whatever.
It's only cheating if the GM says, the table say, hey, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
Yeah, rule of cool always wins.
Hell yeah, the rule of cool should always win. Hot take of the night.
Yeah, I like... I'm the longer that I've played, the more I lean towards rule of cool stuff. When I was first learning how to play, I was more like, no, these are the rules and this is how things work. And now that I kind of have a better sense of it. Yeah.
My first GM taught me the rule of cool because I started playing with my dad when I was a kid, so I had the book right in my lap.
Yeah.
Like, but the book says this, and my dad would just look at me. I can ground you.
That's one way to do it. That's absolutely one way to do it.
Hey, whatever works.
No allowance for you if you don't play this game the way I want you to.
I mean, is that really rule of cool, though? All right. Pope Michael had a question. If you could play with anyone in history at the table in your party, who would it be, and what class would they play?
Theodore Roosevelt, and he'd play a barbarian.
Oh,
That's a good
that is
answer.
a good one.
It's a good answer. I had an answer, and that was so good, Rabbit. You knocked it right out of my head.
Yeah. I think that wins the question.
Right?
Yeah, like,
we might be stuck on this for the
literally-
rest of the night.
Literally, I had an answer, and that like knocked it right out of my head.
That's an outstanding answer for sure. I have always been impressed with Napoleon Bonaparte. One of his quotes is that imagination rules the world. And that's who I would pick. I'd pick Napoleon. Now, as for his class, I think he'd play a wizard. Just based on everything that he did and a lot of stuff with the Napoleonic codes. It seems like that was hiding back there, that sort of, I do this, and get this result kind of thing. So that's where I'd go.
I definitely just had this pop into my head. So at first I was like, well, it's not very funny or anything, but I would play with Marie Curie and she'd be a healer. But then I said, no, I would play with Freddie Mercury and he would be a bard.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
There it is. I'm looking through the Monster of the Week playbooks because my thought is Dolly Parton. Me? Dolly Parton? Sorry, I just dropped the frame that she's in. But Dolly Parton, of course I would play with her. But I feel like she wouldn't play D&D. I feel like she'd be really good at Monster of the Week just because there is a little bit more like creativity and like space to really play and be creative, and that's just my queen. But I can't place which playbook she would be. That's where I'm struggling. So pause. I'm literally pulling up the Monster of the Week like PDFs right now, but my MacBook doesn't want me to have them. Please. Oh no, she would be the Chosen. Absolutely, she would be the Chosen. As soon as the PDF opened, I was like, oh wait, no, of course she's the Chosen. She is the Chosen one. Look at this woman.
Nekola the Druid says Dolly would be the Divine Playbook.
That was also a really, really good one. That's also a really good one. I'm just thinking, your birth was prophesized. Yes, it was. You are the Chosen one. And with your abilities, you can save the world. And if you fail, all will be destroyed. It all rests on you. Only you. Thank you for the Moderna shot, Dolly. Appreciate you.
I would play with Miyamoto Musashi. He would play a martial monk. The reason is this: he was a Ronin in Japan who, when he found out a warlord was going to take over a small town, he just sat in the middle of town with both of his swords, half on chi, drinking a cup of tea. He intimidated an entire army to just say, nope, we're not doing it.
Yeah, that would be... Yeah, I could definitely see that. Oh my gosh, that's a tough question though, because I'm like, but I would also really want to play with this person.
Okay.
And I also really want to play.
I want to play specifically the Curse of Strahd with Vlad Tepes and see what he thinks about like what happened with like his legend.
Oh,
That's fascinating. That's a good answer.
that is a good answer. Just
Also, I really like his mustache, and that feels like a good choice.
How do you think he would enjoy, playing Strahd? I'm listening. I think
I think Vlad the Impaler fucks. Like, I think that he would love it.
Yeah.
I think he would be down.
When he starts critiquing the book, going, I wouldn't have done that. I would have definitely murdered all of these people.
Yeah, right.
it's when you get your copy of the book back and it's all just like crossed out and annotations in the margins, and
But it's in like ancient Croatian,
right?
Like, I can't understand it. Like,
You have to go to the Library of Congress to get your book translated for you.
God damn the Cyrillic alphabet.
Just send it to me. I can run down to the Library of Congress every. So.
Yeah, and then we'd never get the book back.
I mean, if it gets taken into the archives, next to the Declaration of Independence, that's fine. We'll just have to hire Nick Cage for it. So Nick Cage would be a good one, actually. Nick Cage would be a great person to play D&D with.
That's a good answer, too.
He could play every single class.
I was like, what class would he play? And the answer is yes.
Every. He's just like the avatar of
That reminds me of a Ryan Mossbarger one-page RPG where it's just everybody playing a version of Nick Cage from one of the Nick Cage movies.
Oh my God, yeah.
Playing one of his characters randomly as himself. Having a Nick Cage day.
Oh,
Listen, I believe that Nicolas Cage is a vampire because there's that picture of that dude from like 1850 something that looks just like Nicolas Cage.
That's right. Yeah.
He doesn't seem to age any from any of his movies.
He really doesn't. Like, he looks pretty much the same.
He looked the same in Ghost Rider as he did in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yesterday, don't judge me for this. I needed some me time.
Oh, we're going to judge you.
I watched Con Air.
Oh, no.
We're definitely judging you now.
but I had the same thought that I was like, wait, like this was little baby Nicolas Cage, and he does not look any different.
Go farther back. Him and Moonstruck was Cher.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Infant.
Nick Cage.
Infant. Michael saying in chat that Nick Cage and cutting words would be fantastic. Yeah, I agree. That's next level. Oh, he was great in Color Out of Space. I hated Color Out of Space just because I hate like eldritch things like that. But his performance was great. I was just very uncomfortable by like the body horror.
Yeah.
I went to see Color Out of Space without knowing that it was like a retelling of Lovecraft. And so my husband was like, "Hey, do you want to see this Nick Cage movie?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go."
Oh no.
Gemma would murder me. That would you just see a message on the Hope for TTRPG server. Callan is now dead for pulling this shit.
To be declared dead, they have to find a body. You would be presumed missing.
You're not wrong.
Oh my goodness. Bailey, going back to your treats redemption, I have Molly sitting on my desk here right now eating cat treats, so just FYI.
Cool.
Yeah, she'll pop her head up in just a minute because she literally just scarfed down all of them. All right, let's see. Let's move on to the next question. I gotta reach around my cat. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, this one comes from Dungeon Matter. So Matt would like to know, what 3 qualities make a TTRPG session good for you?
Good role play.
Mm-hmm.
A good party. Like, everyone has to vibe really well together. And no one throwing their dice across the room.
Well, that's it. Now you've asked too much of me, and I have to leave.
Yeah, by accident. I'm out.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes.
I roll in a dice tray, and my dice will still bounce out of it and roll across through mid game. I'm like, all right, now I gotta go get the die.
I show this off every so often on stream. I literally have a dice catapult.
Amazing.
Stop it.
Yeah. If anyone's interested, it's from Elderwood Academy. They're $7. They're super inexpensive, and it's all flat pack, and you just, like put a rubber band on it, and then phew. They also work really, really well for mini marshmallows.
Oh, that's
no,
inspired.
I don't know anything about that. No, no.
Oh, I bet it would work really well for cat treats too.
I was just going to say that.
It probably would, except for that all my cat treats are like tiny, and there's a little hole in the space where the die sits, so they would fall right through it.
I also feel like Molly would be offended. She would be like, "Woman, I do not chase treats.
Yeah,
You hand them to me.
it's
Like
true.
the
She's
queen that I am."
She's 16 now. She doesn't chase anything anymore. Oh my god! I just Pope Michael, I saw your treats for kitties. I just saw that, and I opened the drawer, and she just walked straight across my desk.
I could go get Obi's treats and like shake it, but I would have to like leave camera for like 2 seconds. But I do want to give my cat a treat. He has been a good boy today.
Yeah, Molly is very happy right now with all these treats, so it's all good. All good. Okay, so back to the back to the question at hand. So the three qualities that make a TTRPG session good for you. Ben in chat said snacks, beer, and pets. So that's what he suggests.
You can't do it when you're recording, though. You can't have snacks.
It's true.
No,
Way.
no, you can't do that.
Beer, yes.
Yeah.
Beer, yes.
Otherwise, you got to keep muting your mic.
Yeah.
Definitely the people you're with, your friends, family, strangers off the street, whatever it is. That's that to me is one of the big compositions. Secondly, you have to have fun. And I understand not throwing dice, but I'm okay with dice being thrown. I mean, it's not a really good session unless you're throwing dice at people. Because, if you're with your friends, they smarted off and deserved it. And I sure as heck would not want to feel restricted from letting my friends have it.
I mean, I've done that with my friends where I've just whipped a dice at them from the kitchen one day.
That's when you get the pointy D4s and you just throw them across the floor, especially if you get a clear one. Like,
Caltrops are legit.
mm-hmm. That'll teach a DM a lesson.
Pope Michael in chat just said, vibing people, a safe space, and a good story. So, yeah, that's a good answer,
that.
too.
Yeah, vibing people, I was going to say, like, the ability to say yes and is like my number one. Just, whenever people... I'm sorry, every siren is going off outside my block right now. But
what did
the ability...
do?
I don't know. I think I finally got caught, for communist plot. But no, I think, I think the ability to like hear somebody's like harebrained idea and say, actually, yeah, let's build off of that because it makes it for a better story. So that's, I beer and cat, yeah, definitely other things that I would like at my table, but most of all, that like improv instinct is very important.
I think for me, I would say, I think for me, kind of the group vibe and the safe space kind of go hand in hand for me. Mm-hmm. If I'm playing with people that I'm really comfortable with, both of those things happen at the same time. And I think just fun, like being able to have fun, whether or not that's like silly fun or just as long as everybody's having fun playing the game, however it's going. You don't want to have some people playing a silly game and other people playing a really serious game, because that's not going to work very well.
Right.
And snacks. I'll own that.
Preferably from Critical Hit Cookies.
Yeah. Use code Luna10 for 10% off your order.
Wow, what a concept.
But I didn't even think about snacks because normally when I play, it's later in the day. I'm like, all right, I've already had snacks, I've already had food. And when I played with my old party, half the time we were at a bar. So we didn't really have snacks. We just had a plate full of food in front of us, my GM screen, and I said screw it to books because it was a homebrew campaign.
Oh, yeah.
As long as the pictures of beer kept coming, we were fine.
I mean, bar snacks are absolutely a thing. Just, we got eggplant. Oh, sorry. I just had like 6 thoughts at once and I was very excited about
For me, the most important, or what makes like walking away from a session like a great session, is when you feel like everybody has had their time to shine. And not just the players but the DM too, that they had opportunity, like everyone had opportunity in the game to like be showcased. I agree with Amber, the like yes anding and being able to piggyback off other people is huge. And the other thing for me is being able to play with people who begin to care more about the story and less about the rules and the mechanics. And if you're with a group that does play that way, it's going to be such a rich, rewarding experience that like breaking the rules a little bit here and there isn't going to matter to you quite so much.
I like it.
Yeah. That is you just explained how to perfectly play a TTRPG and be a good GM.
Okay. This will probably be the last question we'll have time for before the break, so I will throw this out. 34th Gingerbread would like to know, what mechanic have you seen players struggle with the most?
And 5e,
regardless of the system, it's always grapple.
2e had a really good grapple mechanic, but it was also Thaco based, so
See, I don't mind the Pathfinder grapple mechanic myself. It's after you know that it's just like a -5 here or there, that it's really easy. I don't like 5e personally. That's just me.
I've noticed it in 5e. Aside from grapple, one thing that a lot of my players have a problem with is the climb mechanic. Like you throw the rope up, and the rope is 20 feet. Your movement speed is currently 15 feet. You're gonna have to hold on to that and make an additional check. I typically take that out of my games, but I play with a few role lawyers who demanded they do it. I'm like, okay, when you fall.
This do be what happened.
I have found especially new players really struggle with the way that a healing potion works. Because like you have to use an action unless you have something special that allows you to take it as a bonus action. You have to use an action to take a healing potion, and then you have to roll to see how many points of healing you get back. So in my game, what I do is if you use you can use a bonus action to take a health potion, but then you have to roll to see how many points of health you get back. But if you take the action to take the health potion, you get the max hit points that you could get from that particular type of potion.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's all about making choices and you know how much your economy of motion is important to you, but it's made it easier. It's definitely made it easier.
Yeah, and it really does like the idea of like, no, you need to like heal yourself and rest and not just grind. Oh, I love that. Sorry, I'm like shocked at how good that is. Like, shocked is a bad word, but you know what I mean. I'm just like, oh wow, my mind has been blown.
Shocked and amazed.
Dear.
I guess the thing, like, I still struggle with this too, but and I play spellcasters, so what the fuck is wrong with me? I still struggle with like how many spell slots you get back on a long rest and a short rest and everything, and I kind of rely on D&D Beyond to fix that for me, but I mean, it's just, yeah, no, I think I should invest in like a spell slot counter, but I also play D&D so infrequently now that I'm playing other systems more and that don't require spell slots to use magic as frequently, it's just like, okay, God, I need to dig through my giant dice bag of a brain and figure out like what this is and what I'm doing. So thanks D&D Beyond for breaking me. Really appreciate you. Would love a sponsorship. So
just to get back at Screamer A340, that's also TT Benjamin. He called me out for saying that grappling's easy because I used a flowchart.
Wait, you have a flowchart for grappling?
There's multiple flowcharts for grappling in Pathfinder.
Yeah, you're not wrong, actually.
Mm-hmm. But they're really easy to follow. I don't mind it. But to go ahead and go back, because he insists that it's the easiest thing, playing a spellcaster in Pathfinder is hard. I always found just spellcasting in general super hard, and I'm finally playing a spellcaster in another campaign, and it's out there for me. I rogues, or with Theo, a brawler. I've never played a spellcaster, and it's just nuts.
Yeah, those are all things that people will struggle with. I don't run games anymore, pretty much. So as far as me having a mechanic that people struggle with that I haven't seen anything recently that anyone struggled with. And of course, the ones that would stick out to me as the biggest possibilities, grappling, because I play a lot of Pathfinder, and then spellcasting, just in general, has a bunch of extra rules you got to pay attention to. You guys have already covered them. So I'm going to sit quietly and wave.
One I saw on Twitter the other day, a thread I was following, because somebody asked that same question. And the one that kept coming up was not just spell slots, but also spell levels. Confused a lot of people. And a lot of people were like, thank you, D&D Beyond, like you did, Amber. And I'm like, I remember when I first played a caster, I did what I did in 2E for Thaco. I made a slide rule. Like, I'm this level, so I get this level spell with this many spell slots.
A slide rule is an ancient device. It was used by the very last dinosaurs to walk on the earth. And it was a stick with a stick in it. So it kind of slid like this. And you'd line it up. These ancient dinosaurs would line it up and it would answer questions for them. It was amazing.
Wow. So it was a form of divination, is what you're saying?
So basically it was like a stick version.
But, it was like, a real primitive computer, maybe?
It was like a stick version of the Magic 8-Ball?
Yeah, there you go. Kind of. It's a Magic 8-Ball. There you go. That's exactly what it is.
Every time I think, oh my God, yeah, I'm super old. I'm 30. And then I hear things like a slide rule, and I'm like, I've heard of that word before, but I don't know what that does. So thank you, actually.
Nekola in chat, Nekola the Druid, to throw in more spellcasting confusion, I created a sorcerer that uses spell points instead of spell slots.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
There's that build where you can do the warlock wizard, the coffee lock wizard, where you just keep switching off spell points and magic points, and you don't have to sleep, and it's insane. It's crazy. It's busted. It's very busted.
Psychics from 3.5 use spell points, and somehow it was more confusing. Yeah. I actually semi-related, but are you guys familiar with the spoon theory? Like, you have so many spoons to get through the day. So in my head, instead of referring to them as spoons, I refer to them as my spell slots.
Yep.
Actually, I wrote a game based on that concept.
Nice.
Well, with my partner who's in chat. Hi, Seth. So we wrote a game based on that concept this time last year called Low Spell Slots, because we struggle with mental health and physical health issues. Like, I have very, very bad chronic health issues, and it's just a simple D6 based system. I can drop it in chat, but you roll a D6 if you're feeling like you need to do something, but you need some kind of motivation, and like, you do whatever the D6 says. Like, one of them is just like, take a bath. The other is like, make a cup of tea. Like, do a yoga video. It just create something so that you can feel like you're doing something little, even though you're out of spell slots. So
yeah,
it's really, no, I feel you entirely. Yeah, thanks, Seth, for doing that, bud. You're the best. Love you, man.
Like I said on Twitter earlier, if you're out of spell slots, don't push yourself. You will do what I did and be burnt out for like a week trying to do stuff still because you didn't take 5 minutes to say, I need to just sit down and take a break.
Jesus Christ.
Y'all, I did not come here to be called out like this. And I did not come here to be called out like this.
All right. Well, we are at a good time to pause and take a break. So we're going to do that. We're going to step away for just a couple of minutes, give everybody a chance to refill drinks and all that stuff. So we'll be back in just a little bit, and we've got a few more questions, but if you think of anything while we're on break, feel free to drop those in chat. We'll have moderators. Moderators are standing by, and we'll make sure that we get your questions so we can get to them after the break, and we will see you in just a few minutes. we're back from our break. Want to do a special shout out. Gray Sentinel in chat is our good friend Kyellen, who did all the music that you were hearing during the break time. So that's very exciting. If you are not following Kyellen on Twitter and YouTube and Patreon, get on that, because you get first look at all of his music on his Patreon. And yeah, good stuff. So definitely give him a look-see. He's done a bunch of great work for a lot of people in the community. So yeah. All right, so we're gonna dive back in with a question that we got actually from Ben Screamer A440. What is your favorite? I'm gonna assume a favorite thing. There's a missing word in there. What is your favorite about yourself as GM or player? Don't be shy. Brag yourself up.
Ben, you are a baby. You are the sweetest thing with breath in your body. My goodness.
Let's just make this a Ben stand cast. It makes him very uncomfortable.
Oh man, I have no idea.
He says no.
I love teaching people like new systems, new games. I have a collection, 1,200 different TTRPGs that I've yet to play all of them. So I will learn them, make notes about them, keep my own little file. And if somebody wants to learn it, like, yeah, let me teach you. So he was in a Discord for years where there were a lot of people who were like, I only ever played D&D. I want to learn something new. So every weekend, after I had to do my daily work stuff, I would get a Discord call going, about 6 to 8 people, and teach them a new game. Because it made me happy that they're able to learn my passion.
Yeah, that's nice.
I was going to say something like similar, except I don't have a wide repertoire like you do, and I don't have the years of experience you do. I'm just a nerd that just likes teaching people. So I actually think I'm not that great of a player. I know I'm not a GM, but I do love sitting down and like seeing that moment of like someone getting the way the system works. That, I mean, like I was teaching D&D to my brother over the summer, and like the moment he understood like how initiative and like how combat works, he was just like, oh yeah, no, it's similar to like whatever video game or whatever that's popular with teens now. But he
with the youngins,
what the youths are playing.
The youth.
the infants. Yeah, so like it's seeing that like light of, oh yeah, I got it, in his eyes when over Zoom, because unfortunately pandemic still rages on. It was still, yeah, it was a great moment. So love teaching. I'm very bad at playing and GMing. I'm sorry, everyone. I tricked all of y'all into thinking I'm good at this, but I'm not.
I'm good at this stuff. Like, I'm good at like getting people and like, and this is true in like my actual real life, like my job and everything too. This is kind of where I excel, is like meeting people, finding people, bringing them together, and then after the fact being like, oh, you know what? Like, I know somebody that's looking for a person that can do exactly what you do. And then, like, getting the two of them together and being like, here, you have a problem. You guys get together and now you can fix it. So
you're a Leo. You're a Leo.
I am a Leo.
I'm a Leo rising, so I'm very good at that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost Leo Virgo cusp, but I'm still technically a Leo.
Same. But I'm on the Virgo side.
I think I would say the thing that I'm proudest of, if I had to choose, and playing and GMing two different things in my mind. But I took a group of players through 2 paranoia sessions, and I wanted to make this as legitimately, engrossing as possible. And I don't know if you guys know paranoia, but in the system, there is Alpha Complex, and Alpha Complex is run by an AI that wants to take care of you. And think of it as I don't know, let's see, a dark, humorous misery type of take care of it, right? And you, as a player, are thinking, hey, I want to stay out of trouble in this. I don't want to get into it. Well, you've got to belong to a secret society, which is treasonous. You have to be a mutant, which is treasonous. And, you know, all this stuff, everything you do is treasonous. So what I did to them is I created some requisition forms to start the session. And so they had to requisition gear. And I laid this all out. And, and I also played background music. So we had 6 hours. The first session was Hamster Dance. And I turned it to that volume where you can just hear it. But like if you get interested in something, your brain will shut it out. But it's always there. So the second you lose interest, the second you're distracted slightly, boom, there it is going off. The second session was Barbie Girl. But it was 6 straight hours of that at that volume in the background. And this is because Alpha Complex knows, because there had been study, that people are happier when they hear music. So I did that to them. I had the requisition forms. And then, of course, the requisition form, I hand them all out to them. And I go, all right, you've got 30 seconds to fill this baby in. Make sure you get all you need. Which, of course, again, is all about, you know, that's all part of the paranoia thing. Is you take these normal things and then you have them messed up somehow, changed in some way. But they were loving that so much. And we even lost 15 minutes because one guy was just laughing so hard that he just could not do his part. And we had to wait for him to do his part because he was playing the robot they were supposed to be fixing and reprogramming, you know, because it had treasonously broken down. And the computer, Alpha Complex, wanted it fixed and wanted that treason stopped. And so, 15 minutes of him dying and just laughing hysterically and unable to do, his little bit. So it's good times. Good times. Oh, and I also made them so we could, with the second session, I did away with the combat. Everybody had to bring a Nerf gun. So when you wanted to fire your laser at someone, you actually had to shoot them with the Nerf gun. Top notch there.
I am all for that kind of thing.
I'm gonna brag on Rabbit a little bit because he's not gonna talk nice about himself. He is a fairly new DM and has such a good grasp on how to ride that line between running the story and participating in the story. And there's never a point where we have felt like it's us against the DM. And that being said, like, the storyline we're playing is like really gritty, and like the character I play is really gritty, and I've made some like really bold, like balls out choices, and I really respect that. At no point was Rabbit like, "Are you sure?" Because I hate that. Like I don't love that. And like, let me got my ass kicked, but it all turned out okay. So like, I really appreciate a DM that will, and like when we're getting a little too far afield or we miss something, he's so good at just putting like this tiny little thing that if you're not paying attention, you're not going to get it. But like giving you this little like, I don't know, like a little wisp of something to help lead us in the right direction. And you're so good at it, and you do it so well. You're such an excellent DM.
I'm all right, really. Actually, the entire crew of that game of Telluride is absolutely fantastic to work with, and it makes it so easy. And like Ray takes charge as her character, having to be kind of the kind of heavy leader of the group, makes it super easy. The only thing I need to do is present choices, and everyone runs with it, and it's fantastic. And now I don't need to brag about myself because other people bragged about me.
You have learned in your time playing what it took most GMs I've met decades to learn how to do, including myself.
Oh.
It took me 15 years of running games to figure out that trick.
See, it took me being one of Ben's one of Ben's players for about 5. Oh, hang on, how long have we been playing games, Ben? About 10 years? Yeah,
Oh my
being your player for 10 years to learn by osmosis how good of a DM Ben is. So shout out to Ben. That's what you get for making me brag about myself, Ben.
And we've come full circle. We're back to talking about how awesome Ben is.
Dunk on Ben by giving him love, dang it. You'll take this love.
Need that ostrich gift.
Right? Yeah.
Please no.
Please no.
Please don't say nice things.
Ben, I don't know you, but I hope you're having a great day.
Ben is baby. Ben is the sweetest human being on the planet. And like one day he's like, we were talking about something and he's like, well, my wife said she likes women that scare her and men that don't, and that's why like she's married to Ben. And that makes that makes all the sense in the world. Like he's like Mr. Rogers, just like pure and wholesome and lovely.
Okay, Ben. I'm going to give you some positive love here. Mr. Rogers scares the hell out of me. I don't like the guy at all. So I got your back, buddy. I am terrified of you because you are so nice and so sweet. There must be something dark and Cthulhu about you. So there you go.
Yeah, he might be an eldritch being. I don't know, but he's very good at putting off the nice church boy next door vibes. He could have people in his freezer. I don't know. That's his thing, but like he's never done anything.
You know what? He might. But there's a lot of meat in the basement freezer of his. It might be human meat.
Hot take. I say the same thing about Matt Mercer. I'm just like, you're too nice. You're too nice of a dude, and you wear leather bracers. Like, you have pets in your freezer. What's going on? But I'm sure he's a very lovely gentleman with a voice that knows how to make me melt. So.
Okay. Let's see. The next question that we have comes from Jim the Dim. And this is a fun one. What is the most creative use of Fireball you've ever seen or heard?
Oh, I have my one player's listening. He caused a war crime.
What?
There was a group of there were a group of thugs who were smuggling illegal Tarrasque horns, which in our world they were flammable like certain, toxic gases. Well, he was trying to aim his fireball past his party, but one of them put up shield at the last second, so it redirected the fireball into the crates.
Oh no.
And the funny thing is, the two people who were trying to apprehend the smugglers were both guards.
Oh boy.
So they got blamed for it. He got off scot-free, and he asked me after the session, "Are you sure I'm not chaotic evil?" Like, hey, you guys got banned from Chult for war crimes, so.
My favorite use of Fireball comes from a player that both me and Ben know. It's our friend Ian, who's now moved all the way to California. But he created a character called the Sparrowcaster, who was a Gestalt wild-shaped druid and wizard. Wild shapes into a sparrow, and then casts Fireball all the time, while being insanely hard to hit. That was absolutely, and then it got really crazy. He could do it quickened, and could enlarge it. It was just, imagine a sparrow flying through an army, lighting it on fire. That character could do everything.
I am now in love with this character.
Mm-hmm. And back to War Crimes, my current character is playing a conjurer, so I have Create Hit and Cloud Kill, so that's a war crime.
I think I've been playing D&D wrong for the past like 10 years because I've never used Fireball.
Same. I've never played a spellcaster.
I don't play casters, so I've never used it.
I play casters and I don't use Fireball because like it's so hard. I mean, I usually play like more like uwu considerate characters that like wouldn't want to cause mass destruction on that kind of level. So like Fireball, while great if you want to get an initiative over easily, wouldn't make sense for that character to like launch. So maybe. And I mean, the only character I've ever played that like would actually do Fireball would be Tommy Wiseau, but like he's a wild magic barbarian, so no Fireball there. He's just bonking things. So
I kind of wish my character in Orbital Blues had Fireball.
Every problem would have been solved by Fireball at this point. Group of
You're not wrong,
guys. Fireball.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Bonnie would have lit everyone and everything on fire.
I've never played a morally gray character before, and like I got a taste of power, and it has definitely gone to my head. Violence has like become my first answer, and I love it. I think I've hit more people than anybody else, right? Like everybody else has guns, and I just beat the shit out of everybody.
You had the first attack of the entire game, and that was to punch a fixer in the face.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm. Now imagine if it was Fireball. Everybody in that room would have been killed.
Dead.
Yep.
Very different story.
Yep.
Consider this. Make a very interesting storyline, Rabbit.
I kind of want to force you all to play D&D in the game now.
Oh gosh.
My player in the chat reminded me he once set an entire army on fire with raw sewage using Fireball.
What? Huh?
The town under siege.
First you apply the sewage, then you apply the fire, and then boom, methane, boom.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of like Circle of the Blue Flame, except everybody gets to share.
They have been kicked out. Their campaign, they were kicked out of more towns and countries because I said go wild. Tell me what this town looks like. Tell me what happens when this happens.
Yikes.
Yeah, creative Fireball for me all come back to AT&T, going way back, because that's when Fireballs, and I may get this wrong, but they had pressure but no force, so you could like close the door, and as long as the Fireball didn't burn through the door, it would hold and then redirect it other direction. So you fire a Fireball, which was, I want to say it was like a 30-foot thingy, 30-foot diameter sphere or something like that, or 30-foot radius, I forget what they did, but it was that spear. It's a big fiery ball. Well, you can find it. So what you could do is you could fumigate a dungeon as you open a door, throw it, close the door, and suddenly flames go down the tunnels for a long distance before they burn out. Open door, oh hey, just smoke that. So we've cleared a few dungeons that way.
the easy way of clearing out the dungeon.
It is the easy way. The only thing that stopped us the only thing that stopped us was the game master stopped putting coins in there and magic items, or much fewer magic items. Changed it to like a tapestry worth thousands of gold, far more than we collected. Because then we burned that shit up. Coins would melt and we could turn back into coins. See? So that was not really a hindrance. But scrolls, they go up. So a lot more scrolls, spell books, all that kind of stuff. When we're walking through the ashes going, where the hell's the loot for this place?
You burned it.
Oh, no. That's just me.
Think twice before you fireball. Or wait, hold on. What is it? Like only you can prevent dungeon fires? Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
That needs to be a shirt now.
Think twice, fire once.
We're all having a ball.
Oh my gosh.
Someone get Kata and Matt from Dungeon Glitch on this right now and make
Right?
a shirt. Let's go.
I was like, I think I know what my next merch is going to be.
Code Luna 15 for 15% off.
That's true. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see. We have I'm going to dig back for another question. So this is something that comes up now and then, and I always love to talk about it because everybody always inevitably somewhere in their TTRPG history has this. What is a moment in a game that you've played that has made you emotional, whether really, really good emotions or like super sad or like just made you really like feel something in the context of your character?
Well, I was playing a wonderful lad named Will Grouseball. And we were in a campaign where it was after the golden age of magic type thing. So there was a lot of things that were failing and whatnot because the world was collapsing, or our part of the world was collapsing. We, at one point, go up to a city, and they've got some priests staked out on crosses. Just your standard X, not the T-shaped one. And the reason they have them there is because they're priests of the mother and they are non-violent. In fact, they project an aura of non-violence. And unfortunately, the whole party, all of us players got talking, and we talked ourselves out of walking up and taking them off the crosses and getting the hell out of them because we thought we couldn't do it. Because we thought that would be a violent act. Well, needless to say, that didn't go well for the priest. But this came to like real fruition later because we're in a battle and we're facing undead, and the priests that were on the crosses are now mummies. And as we did the battle, each of us had a different section and kind of had our moment where we were dealing with stuff in the deal. But mine was, I had to face this mummy and then another elemental. And it was, for me, I looked at him and I said, the mother forgives you and bade you come home. And of course, then, I get my ass kicked because the game master had been sitting there quietly for many sessions from when we did this to now to actually reveal, you left me on the stage. You left me, and I was like, the realization hit me that we had talked ourselves out of this and screwed up bad because, not only are we an undead army, but, all this stuff, which they were against and all that and would have been excellent allies, blah, blah. But now we've turned them into the very thing they hate. And I had to cut that sucker down. And what should have been like super glorious, I'm all excited about it, was just more like, oh, thank God I fixed that mistake. And a real letdown because it wasn't the big win, if you will. I mean, yeah, I was glad I won and all that, but still, it's just that was the thing that got me. It made it very bittersweet's not right, but that sort of thing.
The entirety of the Edma arc of
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
that was rough. That was literally you take a bunch of teenagers and shove them into the most awful situation imaginable in the worst place on the planet and watch them slowly just go from just being young kids just trying to figure out a way to get home to becoming just a grizzled bunch of people that are sick of everything and just go, let's just kill everybody and it's not a problem anymore. It was a hell of a turn. I recommend you listen to it. It's great. It's awful, but it's great.
So good.
Drop the link.
Hmm?
Drop the link.
Drop the link. It's an entire arc.
Drop the link to the podcast or the whatever so we can listen to it.
You can find Lawful Great Adventures wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm just here to help people plug their shit.
It says thank you.
I did it at the top. I forget in the middle.
But yeah, it's I talk about it all the time. It's like it's their whole start to finish was just an amazing ride. And I jokingly said in chat for whoever saw it, my kiddo is actually a big fan of the podcast as well. And so I told her tonight, I said, hey, guess what? I have Theo on Tales from the Tavern tonight. She's like, because Theo is her favorite. So she actually, I don't know if anybody saw her sneak in, but she actually snuck in just so she could actually see him on camera, and then she ducked back out again.
I did notice her dancing there by your door.
Yeah.
I just think it's so nice to have fans.
Aw. We love you, Rabbit.
Let me go ahead and follow y'all. I don't think, I wasn't following y'all on Twitter, so yay.
I think my most emotional moment in TTRPGs was when my first campaign ended, just because of how the GM did it. We gave all of our characters, wrote us all out these epilogues. My character had actually died at the very end of the campaign. And the guy he did it with such panache and flair as he put down his pipe on its holder, and he folds down his GM screen after he read everybody's epilogues, and just puts the screen down, puts his fingers up, and that, adventures, is where your tales end. And I was like, it was me, a bunch of Marines sitting at a table. It's like, not gonna cry.
Yeah.
I tend to dig a little more emotional. I play a little more emotional because it's just, I think it's the easy way out to play characters that don't emote or don't have a, not a tragic background, but a complicated background. So I tend to play things that have more nuance in them. And in my home game, I cried, and it was a conversation between a tiny little tabaxi the size of a house cat and a awakened raccoon. And it was her name is Bobble, and she's a tabaxi illusory wizard, and she uses them to make happy little paintings like Bob Ross. And she her best friend growing up was this awakened raccoon named Roxy, and she found her, and it was it was very emotional because it got really deep because the DM's I never asked to be a sentient being, and I was like, oh fuck, because Bobble asked her mother to awaken this raccoon, and she's like, I never asked for this, and she was like, oh no, oh no, what have I done? And it was very emotional. It was very, very emotional. And then it was a session that David the Fungeon Master from Good Better Quest was in, playing the equivalent of Duff Man, handing out wild magic beer. So it very much had there was there was a wild magic table that they had to roll on, and some people drink, it was called quaff beer, and some people drank it and like turned invisible, and like some people drank it and like turned into a cloud of blue butterflies. Like it was Nicola had a character that drank it and then smelled like rotting meat for 5 days. So like yeah.
So someone took the wand of wonder and made it beer.
Yeah, essentially, yes. So like that was emotional. And then I have played characters that have had to make like difficult personal decisions, and that always hits me a little like a little harder than you think it would, like giving up on a dream or changing directions or whatever. That always hits me relatively heavy too.
I'm kind of in a similar spot as you, where like I also tend to play characters that are a little either like completely ooh-woo and sweet and then have to like ultimately end up getting like tarnished somehow, or they just you know, they have some kind of like big you know, complicated background with, you know, the requisite emotions that go with role-playing them. But I think the last time I was on this, I talked about we had a similar question where I talked about like an intervention that a character of mine did. But in reflecting, actually, the most emotional like scene I had was not even like a home game or whatever. I was playing Dead Friend with Seth, my partner who's in chat, Dorkbot 5000, and it was like the first time we had ever played like not D&D together, and if you don't know Dead Friend, it's a like a tarot based like ritual game that oh my god, that Lucian Kahn wrote. Lucian Kahn also wrote you know, Visigoths and Molgoths. But so the whole point of Dead Friend is like you have one person who is playing somebody that's alive and the other person that's playing somebody that's dead, and the whole point of the rituals like through the game is you're summoning that dead person to come back and like resolve something, and that something is some, you know, whatever you build throughout the game. But the first time Seth and I played, like it was these two children that like the story we came up with was like these two children that, or teenagers or whatever, from like Salem, Massachusetts, who were in the middle of, you know, the Inquisition there, the witch trials there, and they were like being they were being like questioned for being witches or whatever, and one of the kids actually like got burned at the stake. And there was a moment where you know, I was trying to summon Seth's character back and was successful in the ritual, but his character had like gone to hell, and this big exchange between like my character like kind of finally owning up to being the one to sell Seth's character out, and him knowing that I sold his character out. And just, oh my god, I just remember, Seth, if you remember this, please throw it in chat, but like I know I was crying because it was just this big confrontation between two idiots, you know. but I mean, there was this like, you know, moment where like the devil was involved, and we were all just like just the betrayal and the angst, and you know, the I loved you but also and the myself, so that's why I sold you out, you know, sorry not sorry. Oh god, it was so draining but also like really emotionally satisfying to like get to the end of the game. So it was I kind of want to play Dead Friend again, so that's, we got to do this when you come here next month. I'm bringing my tarot deck. Anyway, yeah, play more like weird improv games like that. It's great. Round out the trilogy, yeah.
I had one. I talked about it a long time ago on this stream, but the actual scene didn't happen on stream, even though it was a streamed game. The cast also had its own private RP channel in the Discord server, so that there was a lot of stuff that happened in the course of the group that like sometimes we needed to go back and and like reprocess in the course of you know, like figuring out what to do in the next episode or that sort of thing. So I used that as a way. Actually, I needed to, at the time, I was just crazy busy. I was involved in like 4 streams a week and working full time and single parent and, you know, all of that stuff. And so I was like, I just need to take a step back. So I used that as a way for my character to make her exit from the group. And it was devastating. It was, basically what had happened is in the episode previous to this, another character's weapon broke or jammed or something, was unusable. We were playing a Savage Worlds World of Darkness crossover, and so we had, like, you know, a lot of us carried guns and, you know, things like that. And so my character was a werewolf, but also happened to carry a 9mm. And, you know, because sometimes she wasn't a werewolf. And so...
Stay strapped.
Yeah. And so, when she went to leave, and it was great, because it was super in character for her. She was not big on, like, being a part of the group. She was not, like... She never quite understood why she was there. She never felt like she fit into what, you know, was supposed to be happening. And so she woke up, you know, everybody else in the party were vampires or changelings or something. So she happened to wake up and, like, everybody else was either asleep or gone or whatever. And she pulls out her 9mm and she writes a note, and she walks into the room of the person whose weapon who had broken, and which was probably the closest thing she had to a friend. And she left the 9mm with the note on the table, and all the note said was, "You can probably use this more than I can." And she packed her bags and she left. And that was it. That was how she exited. And it was like, it was devastating. But super in character for her. But I was like in tears when I wrote it. So, yeah, that was really tough. I'm just following up on chat now.
That is the amazing kind of RP I love about a lot of the streams I listen to. When you have that moment of, hey, this person has to leave for whatever reason. They have to leave the podcast or they have to take hiatus, and their character just has that kind of emotional out.
Yeah. Yep. And so what ended up happening is, because none of the characters knew what had happened. And of course, I hadn't talked to the rest of the cast. I notified the GM and the showrunner what was going on. And so it sort of left it for them to be able to RP that out in the next stream. Which I think was good, because it was like a legitimate, like, they were trying to figure out what happened. And they didn't have a whole lot of, like, you know, back stuff from me to kind of muddle that up. So, yeah. All right. I think we can squeeze in one more question. This one comes in from Zealzaddy, and I think it's kind of a neat one to end on. So, this question is, what do you feel you still want to experience in D&D that hasn't happened yet?
Fireball.
I would like to get Matt Mercer on this stream. Thank you.
Put that out in the universe.
I'm just gonna him and Mark Meir. I'm just gonna put that out there.
See, I'm team Brennan Lee Mulligan, like, all day long.
Yeah.
Right, we should be friends. I like all of your takes. Like, everything you've said tonight, I've just been like, yes, I vibe with them.
Girl, I'm Ray Mayhem everywhere. Come find me.
it's really hard to try to come up with something that like it hasn't happened. Everything that I've ever want to have happen, like in any session or any campaign or any game, it has happened from a rabbit being shot out of a cannon and then destroying an entire Spanish man of war, to a cat who was in charge of the entirety of the guild's holdings while also being a rogue. Goodness, to a swashbuckler that became friends with all of the Three Musketeers. Like, you can do anything in D&D if you put your mind to it.
That's kind of where I'm at. I've honestly done everything I could think to do as a player, and as a GM, I'm always surprised when players come up with a new idea. I just want to see what my players are going to do next, honestly.
Just an idiot. And I keep coming up with like stupid ideas for things. Like I want to run a campaign where everybody gets to start at like level 20, but you're geriatric. So you have to like take a hit to like your speed or your dex or something like that. And be a bunch of like grandmas and grandpas that have like some cool abilities, but also like you don't have a climb speed.
That's really fun to do. When I used to stream years ago, we streamed that for a charity event.
That's awesome.
It was magical, especially when there's like you're suffering speed, but also because I'm a disabled streamer, I had one person was in their wheelchair, and they're like, "Can I use my wheelchair in the game?" Like, yeah, you're still suffering speed, but now you can use it as a battering ram.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sorry, my cat has chosen finally now to come, and now he's Oberlin. Come on. You got to use his full Christian name. Oberlin, come here, bud. He's looking at me like...
Zealzaddy says, really? You've done everything? Let's see. You've had a baby. You've played a dead character's ghost. You've lived in a magic bottle. Had a familiar that was spying on you. Became a god. Killed a god. Doppelganged your entire party. There have to be things.
I've killed gods. One of my characters became a god after he died. We did doppelgang the entire party, which was really fun having them fight each other. Because they didn't know they were going to be fighting each other. When I said, "Hey, I need you guys to send me copies of your updated character sheets. I just want to make sure my records are up to date."
Oh, that's evil.
Trust issues. Like, this is why I trust nobody.
I don't know.
I don't think we know the things that we want to do until there's an opportunity. The joke is that I'm the patron saint of fuckery. So like anytime that there is an opportunity for fuckery to be afoot, I'm there. And yeah, this is true. It's true. So like I like looking for the weird things that we can do in games, but at the same time, I don't have like a list of stuff that I want to do.
Yeah, I'm going to second that. I think there's definitely moments that I have had that are like totally memorable and, super exciting. But I didn't know that that's what I wanted to do. Or, I needed that experience until it happened. I mean, there's, it's some of it is just, you just don't know until the weird thing happens. Like getting a true scenario here in Skull and Shackles. We had a ship of Yomedaean paladins on a crusade show up to and meet with our pirate ship. And then as I said, "Hey, no problem. I'll go talk to him." And by the way, our ship, because one of our players had done something dumb, which we still don't know exactly what that was, had turned our ship into like a floating unholy site. So it had an unholy aura, which, paladins just get to find, they get to pick that up. And as I go to talk, one of the other players yells, "Shatner." So I'm trying to do my thing in, Shatner's, deal. We truly are not the ones you should attack. And this whole thing. And absolutely hysterical. And I loved every minute of it. But I would not have sat down at the table and said, I want to try and, from a completely evil perspective, talk down a whole boatload of paladins, and I want to do it Shatner style. If I'm not James T. Kirk on that boat, it ain't going to work. So I got to have that. There's no way I was doing that. I mean, from the beginning, but having done it, it's like, oh yeah. So, I'll wait for the next thing that comes up.
I'll be real. I've also never. I feel like I've had the most unique and least stereotypical D&D experience where I've never played a horny bard and I've never been at a table that has had a horny bard actually. So, which
you're not missing anything. Trust me.
Oh, I know. I mean, I know, but at the same time, I kind of.
But hear me out. I did a bard rogue, and it was a College of Seduction bard and an assassin rogue. So she was this Black Widow femme fatale sort of thing.
Nice.
That was fun. That's a lot of fun.
Hey, baby, come here.
I've been at a table with a horny rogue once. That was interesting.
I've been at a table where our sorceress sent our cleric to bed with a succubus.
Amazing. Incredible.
I am not old enough for this talk.
This is NC-17. I need my parent to sign permission.
Yeah. I played Fade to Black.
That was pretty much our rule whenever he succeeded on his charisma check. All right, guys, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll be back. And then we come back. So, need you to do me a favor. Roll a con check.
Oh, no.
He asks it every time, where's the brothel? So.
Oh, my goodness.
My same rogue rabbit that took down an entire Spanish man of war after getting fired out of a cannon did create a race of creatures called Dwabbits.
Rabbit.
Dwabbits. Dwarf. It's great. They now overrun the world.
So that is magical.
It was.
I cannot. I can't. Oh, no.
All right. Well, we have just about hit that point of time where we are out of time for the night, but we got through all the questions, so that's exciting. No, I take that back. We had one that we didn't. Oh no, we did. We just got to answer it, so that was good. And
you did skip one. You did skip one.
Yes, we did skip one. I will own that. Yeah, I was not about to go down that road. Sorry, guys.
Nuh-uh. You could not get me to answer that question. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Remember that talk? I said we were 18 plus. I never said we were NC-17. So with that said, we are going to go back around again, and we are going to have everybody again just remind us of who you are and where we can find you on social media. And we're going to go in the reverse order from when we started. So Amber, we're going to start with you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amber, also known as the Space Jamber, the Space Jamber, as in the 90s movie with a burr at the end. I am a TTRPG. If I stop petting my cat, he's going to leave. So I'm just going to. I'm a TTRPG editor, playtester, GM, what have you. I do everything. I'm the TTRPG Swiss Army knife, baby. So I am finishing up a commission now, and that's gonna free up a lot of my editing time. So if you have a game or what have you, or a system or whatever need edited, written, let me know. we can talk. You can find me at the Space Jamber, or the spacejamber.cool is my new website. So yeah,
That for you.
I know, I love that for me too. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So yeah. Also, this is Obi. Say hi, Obi.
Aw, hi,
There
Obi.
he is.
Obi.
Okay.
Well, thank you for coming on and hanging out again with me tonight. And Rabbit, we're going to go over to you next.
Hey, I'm Rabbit. I play Theo Rosefield in Lawful Great Adventures. You can find that at and Twitter at great_lawful, and Lawful Great Adventures wherever you get your podcasts. And like I announced before, I have a new podcast coming out through LGA called Telluride. Ray's in it. The rest of the crew is currently in the chat. More details when that release is coming will be on the @great_lawful Twitter feed. Keep an eye out there and listen to our podcast.
Yes, listen to it. You should do that. All right. Well, thank you, Rabbit, for coming on. I'm slowly picking away at getting your entire cast on here. So I think actually Sydney's the only one that I haven't had on at this point.
Ooh, definitely wrong.
So the challenge is there. Well, thank you again, and it was great to have you on. Ray, we'll go over to you.
Hello, I am Ray Mayhem. I am Ray Mayhem literally everywhere. I post a lot of my mini painting on Twitter, so feel free to follow me there. I'm in Luna's Discord. I am in Amber's Discord. I don't have a Discord of my own, but I am going to be doing the My Little Pony stream, so keep an eye out for that. And if you're interested, hit your girl up. So.
Yes, I will be posting the casting call contact sheet out on Twitter probably later tonight, and then repeatedly until we decide to actually follow up on it.
Yes. Correct.
Yes. Well, Ray, thank you for coming back, and I love to have you on, so I'm glad it worked out. Lord Richter, we'll go over to you now.
All right. You can find me well, first, there's inspiredincompetence.com. There's Inspired Incompetence has their own Facebook. You can find me in the Inspired Incompetence Discord, which the link for that you will find on both the Facebook and the website. You can find me also at Full Round Action Gaming's Discord. They have a Twitch stream. Check it out. It's a lot of Pathfinder fun and silliness. Also, I am also in Luna's Discord, so you can chat me up there. And it's just been a pleasure to be here tonight. And the cat, which, you can't see on Luna's thing, is resting comfortably on my chest here.
Oh.
Cat content. Cat content.
I'm playing to all the favorites.
I was going to say the rest of us can see that there's a cat, but we can only see about this much of the cat, so...
Yeah, she gets comfy and low.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on and for hanging out tonight. Callan, we'll wrap it up with you.
You can find me at Callan_Hill on Twitter, and also on my YouTube channel where I stream both TTRPG interviews, game reviews, and a lot of spooky games.
All right. A lot of spooky
games. Wow, I think somebody's going to be on your show tomorrow, Callan. I wonder who that is. Oh, hello, Obi. Hey, Obi.
Obi's like, it's
me! Amber's going to be on
Obi
tomorrow.
Says she's done.
Yeah.
Chatting with me and hyping up her stuff. And they're going to be on, and it will be going live right after we're done recording. That episode will be live. Yay. And I'll be hyping it up on Twitter all day tomorrow, pretty much.
Awesome. Well, then we will have to check that out. Well, thank you for coming on, and I'm glad that we were able to connect on Twitter. It's always nice when I can start putting faces with Twitter handles. It's a nice thing about doing this show, and the thing that's also been really nice about lately is that a lot of my upcoming guests are people that are first time people on the stream, so that's exciting. And yeah, I am GamerMomLuna. This is Luna's Living Room, and we're here every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, talking about all things TTRPG. And like we said beforehand, there's going to be some stuff coming up on the channel. Amber and I are going to be doing a one-shot with Dungeon Matter and Big Bees and Soul. We don't have a set date for that yet, but it's coming soon. And then Ray and I and a couple other people are in the process of putting together a My Little Pony in Ravenloft campaign. So that will also be coming soon. Look for the sign-up information if you're interested in filling the last 2 seats in that. Well, you can take one and somebody else can take one. We will have the sign-up form going out on Twitter and also in Discord, probably realistically tomorrow. So, oh, yes, and Zeal Zaddy just reminded me, Eddie Puppet Games coming up at the end of October. I don't have my calendar right in front of me, but I believe it is October 20th. I am going to be over on Zeal Zaddy's channel where we're playing a TTRPG one-shot with sock puppets.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Shut the... Oh my god.
It's going to be amazing. And I am so excited. I've seen some of the other people's sock puppets in progress, and I'm like, man, I have to step up my game. Because mine's going to be like a little white ankle sock with like yarn hair, and that's about it. So I'm super excited. So yeah, drop Zeal Zaddy a follow if you're not already following that channel. And then you will know when it's coming. Yeah, so we gotta find somebody to raid. Oh my gosh, who are we gonna raid tonight?
I think Soul is actually live right now.
I don't know that I am following Soul's channel.
Let me see if I can find. Yeah, he's doing his like AMA. I'm pretty sure.
Sweet. Well, then let's do that. If you want to shoot the.
Yeah, it's twitch.tv/Souls Rolls.
Souls Rolls. Okay.
Oh.
Slash.
He's such a good egg.
It's SOLS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
SOLS ROLES.
ROLES. All right, so that's where we're going, and raid. We gotta do the thing. SOL.
Oh wait, before we go, can I show you Obi sitting like Jabba the Hutt?
Yeah.
Please do.
Oh my god, can you see him? Oh wait, he's like,
Oh my god.
Amazing. I love it.
Stupid idiot. I love
All
my
right.
God.
Well, thank you all so much for coming and hanging out tonight, and hopefully we will see you again next week. Have a great evening.